Hey, what's going on? Mark here for Unoriginal Noobs, here in Resonant Rise Thermal Expansion Tutorial, Part 4, the final part. And here we're going to be going over the Florbs, what exactly Florbs are, how you make them, what types there are, how to fill them up with liquids, and then we're going to get into some miscellaneous stuff that thermal expansion adds. So this is liquids, some blocks, some charged stuff over there for Resonant Flux, and then a really cool feature over there at the end. So let's get right into it. So Florbs. Alright, you want to think of a Florb as a snowball and a bucket combined. So it is a snowball that you can throw. However, wherever it hits, whatever liquid is in that Florb gets poured as if you just right-clicked it from a bucket. Alright, so simple enough. That's the basic concept of Florbs. So, let's get into what types of Florbs. So there's two Florbs. These are just filled ones that I'm going to use for a demonstration later. So there's two Florbs. There's normal Florbs and magmatic Florbs. And how you want to think of these is normal Florbs will hold all the normal liquids. Magmatic Florbs will hold hot liquids. Alright, so what's the difference? How do you tell? Well, if you think of the liquid that's going into the Florb. So, for example, molten lava, no, molten iron, molten nickel, any form of melted metal, or lava, or hot metal that it's a hot liquid, those go in magmatic Florbs. And then any other liquids go in normal Florbs. And if you're still not sure, you can type in Florb, which I have up here, and it will tell you. So for here, you can see where my cursor is on the NEI, it says in brackets on the right, it says molten iron, and then it has magmatic Florb. It's a magmatic Florb with molten iron. This means to hold molten iron in a Florb, you will need a magmatic Florb. Alright, so we can go to another example. Molten adamantite. You also need a magmatic Florb. Whereas if we go to, say, gelid cryotheum, you can see we just need a normal Florb. You can see on the very left side, it just says Florb, not magmatic Florb. That's how you tell whether or not you need a normal Florb or a magmatic Florb. Alright, cool. So, how do we fill these things? Well, first you're going to need the the magma crucible from 2 tutorials back where I went over all the machines over there. And you'll need to get the liquid form of whatever you want to put into the Florb. And then once you get it from the magmatic crucible, you want to put it into a fluid transposer. And I have 2 fluid transposers here. I have one with a liquid that requires a normal Florb and one with a liquid that requires a magmatic Florb. So lava here and I have glowstone here. And the cool thing is if I try to fill this glowstone into a magmatic Florb, so glowstone normally requires a normal Florb. However, if I try filling it into a magmatic Florb, you can see the fluid transposer doesn't even do anything. It does not let me fill up this magmatic Florb with glowstone. Same goes for lava. Lava is a hot liquid, and if I try to put a normal Florb in, you can see nothing happens. It doesn't do anything. However, if I swap these around and I put the normal Florb in the glowstone, you can see instantly, boom, it starts to fill up. And now we have a Florb of energized glowstone. Same goes for the magmatic Florb. Put it in, instantly, boom, the lava starts to fill up, and now we have a magmatic Florb of lava. Alright, cool. So let me go grab these 2 Florbs over here. I have a spring water Florb and a molten iron Florb. And as I said earlier, think of these as a throwable snowball. You can think of it as a throwable bucket. A throwable bucket. And basically, oh, that's where I ignore that latest death. We'll do it over here. Basically, whenever Florbs are tossed now, whenever you throw a liquid, it will have an effect. Now, whether that effect is as simple as setting you on fire is beside the point. It can have an effect. It will have an effect. Whether that is a positive effect or a negative effect, it will have an effect on most of the liquids. Alright, simple enough. So if we throw the glowstone Florb, and glowstone flows up because it's lighter than air, so we'll just have to kind of go with that. So we flow the glowstone Florb, you can see I threw it like a snowball, but then it got placed where it landed as if I placed it there with a bucket. Okay, I can throw the lava Florb, we can just throw it there, boom. It's as if I threw a lava bucket. As if I placed a lava bucket over there. Alright, let's throw the spring water over there. Whoop, and there you can see, there goes the spring water, and then we'll throw the molten iron way in the distance over there. So there you can see. we have the 4 liquids that I had, and I just threw them all. So now if I walk into these liquids, I will get special effects. So if I walk into glowstone, immediately, so you can immediately tell that it is not a harmful effect because we're not dying or going dizzy or getting blinded or anything. And if we go, and if I press E, if you open up your inventory, you can see glowstone gives you speed and jump boost. Now I can run a little faster and jump a little higher. That's cool. Alright. What about lava? Well, we all know what lava does. I'm not even going to touch lava. Lava just does the same thing, kind of burns you and whatnot. What about molten iron? Now it is molten iron, so I'm assuming it burns you, but let's just kind of touch it a little bit. Oh, okay. Ah! Alright, now I'm on fire. Let's get off fire. Alright. So let's get back to survival mode. Alright, so there's cool. So iron basically just acts like lava. It burns you, hurts you. I'm assuming most of the molten metals kind of do that. It's just as if you think in real life, if you pour a hot liquid metal on yourself, it's going to burn you a little bit. Alright. Well, what about the spring water? What does spring water do? Well, there's only one way to find out, and it's to walk in it. So if we just jump into spring water, you can see, oh, I think it's, yeah, it gives you regeneration. So spring water gives you regeneration. And that's basically what Florbs do. They're just a throwable liquid. Throwable bucket is what they think. Alright, so let's get on to the miscellaneous section. And in here, you're just going to see kind of the miscellaneous items that are added by thermal expansion. First off, with all the liquids that thermal expansion offers. Destabilized redstone, so it's liquid redstone. Energized glowstone, which is liquid glowstone. Resonant ender, which is what you use to make tesseracts. That's how you fill them up. Very cool. You're going to love this liquid to make those tesseracts. Blazing pyromethium and jelly cryotherium. You can use those for the dynamos over there that I had in the first tutorial. They can produce some pretty nifty, pretty cool amount of power. And then we have some liquefied coal, just coal, liquid coal. Alright, so here we have all the ores. I have them in block form, but it's the ores that are offered by thermal expansion, or not the ores, but the ingots that are offered, because not all of them are you can get from ore form. So we have the 5 that I had in the first tutorial way back over there, where I had the 5 ores, which was copper, tin, silver, lead, and ferrous. Now these are all, you were able to get all 5 of these from ores, but the rest of these you have to get from processing. So from 2 tutorials back, I had the pulverizer, and I said the pulverizer has a chance, depending on the ore you put in, has a chance to give you a random ore. It's not random, depending on the ore you put in, it has a % chance to give you some kind of dust back. Now if you put ferrous ore in, it has a chance of getting you a shiny dust back. And shiny dust is going to be very nice because you're going to need that to make your tesseracts. Electrum, you make electrum in the induction furnace. I had 2 tutorials back where you combine 2 alloys or 2 metals and it combines them or creates something. That's where the electrum comes from. Invar comes from iron. So when you pulverize iron, you have a chance to get invar out of it. And then you have the Tinker's alloy block and Enderium, which is just it's the kind of block form of the Enderium ingot, which you also need for tesseracts. Alright, cool. Next up, we have, we have the Flux Capacitors. Redstone, well, that's a redstone flux capacitor. Set it to daytime. Alright, so flux capacitors are basically, they're a portable source of power. They're batteries. That's all you need to think of them. They are batteries. Now there's a very cheap one, and it is the tuberous flux capacitor, and it's instantly, when you make it, it will start at full charge, but it only has 16,000 RF. I mean, that's not very much. 16,000 redstone flux compared to, like, the grand scheme of things, that's not a whole lot of redstone flux. But the crafting recipe for it is a potato, lead, ignite, and redstone, and it's full charge. So it can be some early game power for your machines. You can even use poisonous potatoes. You know, when you kill zombies, they drop poisonous potatoes. Or you're getting potatoes and you get a poisonous potato. Anyway, you get a poisonous potato, you can use those and turn them into batteries instead of just throwing them away. So that's cool. And then you can get into the actual craftable ones. So you have the leadstone one is the tier 1. And you kind of go through all these crafting recipes yourself or just pause them. Oh, and I want you, Rain. So you can see here in the hardened one is where we get the invar from. So you have that, and then redstone, you can see this is where we get the electrum. And then we have the resonant, where we use the resonant ingots. And each tier has more power and more output. So the main uses for these in thermal expansion is, so when you have one of these, so let's just take the redstone one with us. If you don't have a thermal expansion power source, say you don't have any dynamos at the current moment, well, if we go into a machine, so let's go, say the fluid transposer. On the very left, you can see its power bar, but then right below that, there's a slot. You can stick redstone flux capacitors in that slot and use those to power the machine. So you can see this machine has a maximum of 48,000, and that little potato one was only 16,000. So, and you can see how the potato one isn't a whole lot of power, but this hardened one holds up to 2,000 power. So that's 2 million RF, in case you're not sure. That's 2 million redstone flux. So that's about the gist of these flux capacitors. It's just a portable, it's a battery. It's a battery. It's the way to think of it. Last but not least, all the items in thermal expansion are 100% Forge multi-block compatible. Meaning all the covers, the ducts, the facades, anything that Forge multi-block offers is 100% compatible with the thermal expansion. Which is very cool. Like, it's so nice to cover up all your... So this could be, for all you know, this could be my floor, and there could be tons of conduit under it, and you wouldn't have a clue. Not one clue. And it's more efficient, too, because if you just hacksaw a bunch of marble blocks down, you can fill up... If one marble block can fill up one block space, and you only really care about the top of the block, then you can just have a cover filling up multiple sections, and you can still put conduit and stuff under it. So that's really cool. And this works with fluid ducts, item ducts, all the, well, technically all the machines too. Tesseracts, chests, anything. So that is Resonant Rise, the thermal expansion part. I can't wait to see what mods we have next. I hope this tutorial series taught you something new, and I can't wait for the next mod. Bye.